Hi, this is Melissa from A Creative Journey with Melissa, and today I'm going to show you how to create a element so that you can make your element or embellishment wobbly or jiggly or whatever you want to call it. There are other things out on the market that are awesome and I love them. However, I create my own because I have tons and tons of wire from previous creations that I've made, and I collected them way back when people did a lot of things with wiring and writing with wire, etc. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, I'm going to show you. One of our amazing customers gave me this idea, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to put that together today, and I did. So this is what I'm talking about. See how you have this little wobbly thing? See how it wobbles? It's kind of cool, huh? So could you imagine how cool it would be if you had this on a card and someone opened it up and it just went bing and it sprung like that? Now I want you to make that noise when you create it because it's important. It gives more of the oomph of the experience, okay? So remember, bing! Okay, anyway, we won't do that again. So this is what I'm talking about. This here is the little spring that we're gonna create, okay? It's super duper easy. You don't need a whole bunch of materials, and you might even have some of this stuff on your craft table or in your craft table or around your craft table, or maybe your husband has some stuff on his workbench. So go check that out because, you know, what his is mine and what's mine is mine. You know how that works. Anyway, so what we have here is this cute, like I said, this cute little wiggly wobbly thing, and it's going to create a 3D embellishment that wiggles and wobbles, okay? So what we're going to do is we're simply going to take out, I have wire cutters, but you don't necessarily need them. You can use scissors, because this is, I asked my son what kind of, what gauge this wire is, and it's super duper thin. I'm going to show you how thin it is. It's super duper thin, and he said it's probably about 26 or 28 millimeters, or 26, 28 gauge wire. So you don't need something that's super thick. You actually want it very easy to move and groove. Like, look at that. That's what I just did with my finger. It's simple, no problem, super easy. You don't want something that's really hard because you don't want it too stiff to where it won't wiggle for you. You can make it a little stiffer if you want, that's up to you, but I like to use the thinner stuff because I think it's more pliable, and when I'm creating with a creation, I like to be able to say I want to move it and have it go this way a little bit. So like say it's a stand-up card, so I would want it to have a little bit of an angle so it's easy to move that way. Say I want to have it going this way, a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. They're really easy to manipulate, and you can even squish it right back. We squish it down. See how it's barely even bouncing, and then you pull it up and you make it wiggle again. So it's really versatile. I love the way that this thin wire works, okay? So that's why I like that. Anyway, so what you'll need is, you'll need adhesive, you'll need an embellishment, you'll need some paper. Now you really don't need this. What I would suggest you do is you get all of these items here. You just need some paper, which I did 2 little circle tags, and you need some scissors. You need wire. You of course need some adhesive. And actually, let's do this. We'll keep this on the side. What you actually need for the creation itself is right here. So this could be a pencil. This could be a pen. This could be anything that you want. You could even use the end of this, which I just thought of now. So if you have this cool quick stick, it's called the Quicker Poker Picker Upper. It's awesome. If you have that, use it. Anything that's thin that you can make a small wrap around, that's what you can do. This is from an eyeglass repair kit. So if you have one of those, use it. I always look for things that you can use that are in your toolbox already. You could also use a pencil. It might be a little thicker than you're looking for, but again, it depends on what you're using it for. You can use a really thin screwdriver. I think you get what I'm talking about. Anyway, you want to use a thin item so that you can make a thinner little spring. So basically you're going to make a metal spring out of wire. That's all you're doing. Not too hard, pretty simple. So I'm going to take this right here, and I'm going to take the edge of this wire. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a little tail out, okay? So I want a little bit of a flat part out. That makes it easier for you to adhere to what you're putting it on, okay? So I'm going to use my thumb, and I'm just going to hold on to it, and I'm simply going to wrap it oh, oopsie. It left my finger. Let's try that again. Ha! It's proven me wrong. Okay, hold down tightly. All right, I gotcha. You're not moving, mister. All right, go around like this. I'm doing it like 4 or 5 times right now, and then I'm going to squish it down a little bit so it makes it closer together, and then I'm going to do it about 4 or 5 more times this way and squish it down a little bit more, and I might do it 1 or 2 more times, and then I'm going to cut it while it's out because I want a little tail on the beginning and I want a little tail on the end. Okay, so that was pretty simple, and I can show you right now. These scissors are awesome, but you can cut this wire with scissors. I can cut them with these scissors too, which are sharp but not super sharp. So I want to show you that. Okay, and I will also show you with my other scissors, which are just, you know, standard scissors. I'm not even sure where I got these. You can cut them with these two. So it's super duper duper easy to cut. That's one of the other reasons why I like it, because as you can see, I cut all those little pieces. See that? And I just use regular scissors. So you don't need fancy super sharp scissors. You just need scissors that will cut. That's important. So we don't need scissors anymore. We will be putting this wire away. And again, just to give you an idea of how small this is a 1-inch circle, and that's how thin it is. So you can really kind of give an idea as to what we're working with. It's really tiny. It's really super thin, okay? So we have our little spring. We're just going to pull it off gently. And that is what we have. So basically that's what you're making. It's really simple. And then you're just going to tape it down. That's all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do that. I pull it out a little bit, like so. Kind of reminds me of those springs that you have in your pens, or what used to have the retractable pens, like the, was it the Bic or Papermate pens, that used to have a little spring, and inevitably if I ran out of ink or something, I would open it up and it would go flying and I'd have to buy a new pen anyway, so it didn't matter. Yes, that's what I used to do. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to take some tape, and it's just tape. Nothing fancy, just regular Scotch tape, nothing fancy. And we're just going to put a little piece of tape there to connect it, and we're going to put a little piece on here to connect it, and that's how you're going to make it. That's how simple it is. So I'm going to take just a little piece of this, and this Scotch tape is awesome because it rips pretty easy, which is my kind of thing. So we're going to just place it right in here inside that little tail that we left out and push down a little bit so that it's stuck on the top, stuck on the top of the wire. See that? That's what we want. And then we're just going to simply push down on our little piece of paper. We're going to make sure it's pretty solid on there. Looks good. And we're just going to bend it up so it's more centered. So there we go for that. And if it's not centered perfectly, that's okay. You can scoot it over and kind of adjust it, and I'll show you how I just did that. Look at that. Whoops. See that? I kind of made that little loop and just made it centered. Does that make sense? Here, I'll show you the top way. That's kind of how I did it. Because it was a little bit further over than I wanted, so I scooted it over, made a little loop there, and then pulled it in the middle. Okay? All right. So that is the one part. Then we're going to take another little piece of this Scotch tape, and trust me, you can make a bunch of these with as much Scotch tape as that little piece I just ripped off, because it's amazing. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take this side. You can put it right on top of that piece of wire. You're going to stick it to it. Now you can make it flat and then bend it up too if you want. So that kind of looks like what we're doing. Okay. I mean, it is what we're doing. Kind of looks is a better idea of what we're doing, not kind of looks. Oh, it's one of those days. Anyway, here you go. So then we can, watch it stick so well that it stays on your finger. We're going to pull that off. We're going to stick it to the other circle right in the middle. Push it down. Make sure it's really far down there and on there really well. And then you're just going to push down on that spring, okay? So that is the little spring that you made, and it looks a little bit crooked, but it works. And it's very adjustable, and again, it's like a little bit squished. It's okay if it's squished. You can pull it back out and put it back in again. See how you just push it out like that, and then you just squish it back in. Do-do-do-do. And you can make these while you're sitting in front of your television, and then you can just have them ready. Now, in this case, I'm going to show you what happened to me when I was trying to just give a little example of what you can do. I decided to create this little card right here. And I was like, oh, that's awesome, I love it, that's great. The only problem was the circle that I punched out was too big. So what I decided to do was take my handy dandy scissors, and I just cut off the edges. So I cut off this little edge right here. Make sure you don't cut off too much of the tape. And cut off this little edge right here. And cut off this little edge right here. And this little edge right here. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not into perfection. This is going to be covered anyway, so you're fine, no worries. So we're going to show you, oops, what this cute little guy looks like. And it's still wiggly and it's still wobbly. But see how I just trimmed that? So now it's just got a smaller amount of paper showing. So what you can do now is, I'm going to take my regular adhesive. This is just actually, it's scrapbook adhesive, it's Easy Dots. And I'm just going to place some on the back of my embellishment right here. Okay, this is from Coffee is My Liquid Therapy. And we're going to, from our stamp set, we're just going to place it right on top of there. Make sure it adheres. Push down really well also on the spring part, so make sure it's all connected. And then what I'm going to do, instead of pushing it here and putting the adhesive on here, I'm going to just place it right where I want it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive right there. Set that aside. And again, you can move this and then readjust it too. So don't worry if you bent it and you don't worried about bending it back, you're fine. So you're going to push down really super hard here. And then you can adjust your cute little coffee cup. See how that works? It's so cute. I just love it. And it's really easy to make a bunch of these while you're sitting watching TV or whatever. You can just wrap a whole bunch of springs, and then you can add the tape. I would not suggest that you just use regular adhesive, because you have to have something that's holding it down. Just putting adhesive on it in here is not going to work. So you need to use some type of tape that that has like a covering on it, such as the Scotch tape, or you could use packing tape, but I think that would be a lot more trouble than it's worth, just because it would take up too much time and too much frustration trying to get it to not stick on you. So I really, really hope you enjoyed this today, and I hope that you are inspired to make a whole bunch of these awesome wiggly wobbly things. And just make sure that you check out our website at www.acreativejourneywithmelissa.com or www.acjwm.com. And I really hope you enjoyed going on a creative journey with Melissa. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.